Hey everybody, it's some of your pals from Game Savvy, and we're here because we're so hyped about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and we're going to do a little video hot stove and chat about it a little bit. So, in case you don't know, I'm Emily.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Christian.
And the rest of us are awkward.
And scene.
Yeah. And we've got interchangeable bearded man, I guess.
Sterling just needs to put glasses on.
Yeah.
We'd be able to tell them apart.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have any. Now I feel stupid.
Amazing. All right. So I'll ask a question. Everybody can go around and give their answers. Question number 1 is, what were your thoughts on the trailer? Christian.
Thoughts on the trailer? I thought it was good. I liked it a lot. Their cinematic trailers are always super, super good. I rewatched all of them yesterday just so I can go back and see how good they've always been. And the one for 2 and 3 have always been my favorites just because I remember the hype for 2 back when I was in 7th grade, I think. I don't even remember. But I like the new trailer a lot. The music was good. It's graphically insane because duh. And there's lots of little tidbits that we could pick out some of it, but we still don't know a lot. And like, I'm very interested in who the hooded guy was. Was that Odin? Do we know how much? We don't even know. But I liked it a lot.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I like the kind of contrast between the voiceover and what they were actually showing at the beginning, where they're saying like they're godless, they're savages, they're murderers, and it's just them being chill, cool dudes for a lot of that. So that was pretty neat. And I got some pretty big, like, I'll talk about Volsungs in one of the later questions, but there's like in the middle of battle when Odin just kind of shows up, so everybody thinks they're going to win. That's pretty traditional Viking saga stuff, so that was pretty sweet. I was pretty pumped.
Yeah, that was also the part that kind of screamed like Assassin's Creed to me, was finally like that point when he turns into the raven and you see the raven soaring, which, I mean, makes you think of the eagle, but I feel like up until that point you're like, okay, what is this? And then like you hit that point and then it's like, okay, no, this is an Assassin's Creed game. Oh, I really liked it.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
I think most of you guys know that, like, I don't care about Assassin's Creed at all.
Why is he here?
We needed someone to balance us out.
Yeah.
Cinematic trailers mean nothing to me. Doesn't it's just there to get you hype, and it does give like little tidbits of things you can expect for the game, but I don't know. I want to see gameplay, and I thought I would be like alone in this thought. I remember when the Game Awards came around, and we were covering Twinfinite, and we were just watching trailers in the chat. I was like, I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. Like, I'm not seeing anything. And like everybody else said the same, and I was like, damn. Like, I'm glad I'm not the only cynical one. But I think the game has potential to be different, and I definitely like the Viking setting compared to other ones. Like, I remember when it went from like Unity to Syndicate and stuff like that. It's like, okay, the settings are different, but it's still like the same. It's the same gist. Like, it's the same concept in a way. So I think it has potential. I'm still super excited for Skull and Bones whenever the hell that's going to come out.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly. Too. I think Ubisoft has too.
All right, Steven.
Yeah. So, one, the trailer looks awesome. 2, Sterling, if it was a cinematic trailer for Fire Emblem, you would have creamed your jeans.
No, I didn't care about the one for Three Houses. I did. I'm sorry.
Shut up. No, I think it looks really good. I'm really looking forward to it, especially with how in the last two they've kind of like been introducing more like the mythos and everything like that, like the gods and everything. I think it's going to play into this one a lot, especially how we see Odin on the battlefield and everything like that, and he turns into the Raven. And then none of you guys mentioned the hidden blade being on top of the arm.
Oh yeah,
Which-
yeah.
Yeah.
Why did it take them that long to figure it out?
One, and the thing is, it didn't modern day Desmond still have
Yeah, it doesn't still have it on the forearm.
it was still under. I think they just had a little thing where it was like I can't remember what game they introduced it where you didn't have to remove your finger.
Yeah.
Number two, because Da Vinci,
Two.
like,
Oh, for the second
Ezio
one,
was like, all right, take my
Yeah.
finger. And he's like,
Yep.
what, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
yeah. So it must have been flip-flopped between timelines. I can't remember how far along they were, but yeah.
Maybe
it did take-
Vikings
It just
just really need all their fingers for stuff.
Or we've just progressively gotten stupider as time has
Yeah,
gone on.
That's a good point. That may be true.
I think what it is Ubisoft going, overall lore and story, yeet.
Yeah.
We can dig into that later.
Yeah.
I have a question. Does this franchise being a yearly release like not make it not as exciting for you guys? Or does it not matter?
Well, this is 2 years now. It's
Yeah.
50
Oh,
years
is it?
since Odyssey.
Yeah.
There wasn't one last year.
Since Syndicate, they've been on a
2 year.
yeah. They did 2 years before Origins and then 1 year before Odyssey, and then this has been 2 years.
Which is good because they're proving they can make really big games in that 2 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it is different studios working
Mhm.
on these games. So I know like this has been in the works for longer than 2 years, probably more like 5. But I think because their games are so big, people need 2 years. Like I didn't finish Odyssey
I'm not done
until
Odyssey yet.
last year, and that wasn't even I didn't platinum it or anything. I was just finishing, I think, one of the Odysseys because there's multiple huge storylines.
Yeah, like I still need to finish the last DLC pack for
Same.
Odyssey. I did like the first 2. I think I didn't even finish the second one, but I still need to do the third one.
The completion rate for most video games is abysmally low. I think it was like for Red Dead Redemption 2, like 5% of people who bought the game actually beat it. It's crazy.
I did beat that one.
It's because that one drug on too long.
Shut
I think the intro. I think the intro to that was too long.
Characters and historical figures you want to see in the game.
Norman Reedus is that?
Norman Reedus!
We just answered this.
Norman Reedus' ass, that's it. Not the rest of them.
As far as like the Norse stuff, I don't know if I want to see like Thor in it because we do have God of War 2 coming. And I did see somebody post this earlier where it was like, okay, zombies were a thing. Now it seems Norse mythology is becoming like the niche thing that games are doing. And like, I would like to see maybe Thor, maybe some Loki, maybe some Frigga or something like that. I'm not too well knowledged on the Norse timeline. I just started watching Vikings the other day just so I can get a feel for it. And yeah, there's not really. I would like to see like Mjolnir like as a weapon choice, like maybe like a DLC pack or something. That would be really cool.
That would be
Pretty
sweet.
sweet.
I think seeing like Thor, Loki, Odin would be cool, but I feel like we've had a lot of that, and that's what most people
Maybe
know
for
of.
DLC.
Yeah, maybe DLC, but I'd like to see more, maybe like Heimdall, Hel,
Yeah.
Vale.
Surtur.
Yeah,
Surtur is
just
good.
somewhat lesser known, but very important
Mm-hmm.
Norse mythology.
I feel like, there's like a lot of options for historical and saying that, knowing that most history we know about Vikings isn't from their myths, basically, and their sagas, which are mostly hyped up. Probably not all true, but there's like cool characters that they can bring in. Like Ragnar from Vikings was one of their characters in one of their sagas, and basically his deal is he took two ships to try to conquer England when everyone was like, hey, that's a bad plan, pal. And so like if stuff like that kind of gets talked about, that'd be pretty cool, because I think the period where they attack England is pretty neat because there's a lot of big players there. Like the Saxons were kind of dicks too, so that'll be pretty neat. If there's some Celts that get in there at some point, that'll be pretty cool.
I saw something about like Anglo-Saxons like were so intimidated by Vikings because, or like Scandinavians, because their women would leave them for them because they like
because they were clean.
Look at those they were clean. Look at those beards. And man,
they took good care of their hair, and
they
so all of the Saxon women wanted them.
They were men.
Yeah. And I mean, like, fair point.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
If you put some little British boy in front of me and a Viking.
Same.
Yep. Same page all across. Yep.
Legolas or Gimli? That's pretty much what it is.
Give me that little dwarf boy
Gimli.
right now.
Right, Sterling.
Christian literally took the words out of my mouth. I was literally going to mention the God of War thing. Like, I'm worried that literally the same thing that is going to become like the zombie crazes of like the early 2010s, because like I remember being like enamored with God of War and like the lore and stuff, and then when they said it was Vikings and like I saw there was going to be like, you know, all the mythos and stuff, I was like, I already saw this with like what could they do differently with it? Like, even though like Thor and Odin aren't like a huge part of God of War, like you don't even really see them, like it's still there, like it's still Odin's, and especially because like, not to spoil God of War, but at the end like it teases that you fight Thor in the second game, and there's gonna be one, like even though it's not announced, like you know there's gonna be another God of War because that game sold like crazy. And
rightfully so.
Game of the year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's another game coming out with like Norse, like isn't it like
Hellblade 2?
Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
There was another game. I think it was.
Is there another Ubisoft game? But it's.
I was thinking, it's
Gods
and Monsters.
Gods and Monsters. Yeah.
I think
exactly.
Is that Ubisoft?
That one's Greek. That one's like Greek mythology though. It's got like the Gorgons and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft.
But that's the thing. It's like even though it's different mythologies, like it's still the same concept, right?
Well, I mean, we technically did just get Greek mythology through Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Right.
So
exactly.
And then we got the Egyptians before that.
Oh.
Because I think they're dubbing this like the Ancients trio. So it's like basically three big different types of mythology.
Do you guys think it'll ever go into like modern day, or?
God, I hope so.
I think we lost that whenever they killed off Desmond.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
The overarching plot was kind of.
And the Layla stuff they've been doing with the past two has been kind of convoluted.
Yeah.
I feel like I like dread those parts of the games.
Yeah.
I think
so
since Desmond, it's just
it doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
Yeah.
I love the Desmond stuff though. Back in the day.
Same. Well, and awesome. I really like Desmond, but once they got rid of him and they went to the Layla stuff, it's just I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't excite me, and I'd rather get back to the
right. Like I remember at the end of the first game, whenever you got the eagle sight outside of the Animus, and you like saw all the writing and everything like that. I'm just like, oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah.
But I have not had that same feeling with
Yeah.
these last two at all.
It's like one of the
Dude.
reasons why I like 3 so much is because it's got those 3 or 4 modern day missions that you
Segments
do.
in it, yeah.
Yeah, and like you go to that sports coliseum, and it's so
Yes,
good,
yeah.
and it gives you so much look into like what could be a modern day Assassin's Creed game, but they just still haven't done it.
Do the new games still have like the big plot twist in the end, or like that big reveal, or is that kind of?
I don't know. I haven't beaten the last two games.
I think. Well, I think the last one.
Odyssey's was like early game.
Yeah.
Almost. It
Yeah.
wasn't even like at the end. It was like early game. But
Yeah, it
Odyssey's
was like-
got so much like dialogue choosing that you can do, so you can change. There's like 45 different outcomes for every other mission that you do, so it's really like it's like Witcher 3 almost, where it's like
Yeah.
you can just.
It was really open world.
Yeah.
Well, they
it's-
went to that point where it's like no longer an Assassin's Creed game, and it's just like
which
an
was
action
my-
RPG.
It's
Yeah,
an RPG. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was my number one gripe with Odyssey in particular. Origins still had, at least with the DLC, at least still had that hook in me where he still had a hidden blade. Then they founded the hidden ones or whatever it was. Odyssey just threw it all away and leaned way too hard into the mythos for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the that peak or that twist that they were really going for was at the end of Odyssey, where it's Alexios and Cassandra, whoever you're playing as, and that fight, whatever the outcome of that part of the game is, because you've got multiple endings, and it's kind of their like surprise. It just depends on what ending you got, I guess.
Right. But like,
just-
go ahead.
I'll never forget. Like, I don't know if it was Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood, where like you're talking to like the god lady, and then she starts like looking at the camera, and she's like talking to you, and I was just like,
Oh yeah,
Fucking
3.
really?
Yeah, it like went super
Brotherhood.
meta.
It was Brotherhood whenever Ezio gets into the temple and she starts talking to Desmond. She's looking at the camera.
yeah.
He starts freaking
She's
out.
like
He's
looking at
who
them
is
through
this
the animals,
Desmond
yeah.
you're talking to? Because I think Ezio does the same thing in Revelations.
Yeah.
He starts talking to Desmond and he's like looking at the camera almost.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
It gives me shivers just
I
thinking
just
about
got
it. That was
chills too
crazy.
thinking about it.
It was so good. Like that, the Assassin's Creed games were so good, and then they killed off Desmond, and then like Origins is a great game, Odyssey is a great game, but they're not great Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like for them to go back to that with this one.
It'll see where they go after these games, I think will be a really big turning point for whether or not the future of Assassin's Creed is anything.
And we are
Right,
getting
just-
gameplay next week.
Yeah, and I think they should. At this point, I think they should just drop the Assassin's Creed name and make these something else, because they are no longer really connected to
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed outside of the Animus.
But that IP, it's worth so much that
Right. They're gonna
they
keep using
they
it.
have to keep the Assassin's
gonna
Creed
milk it.
name. And I loved the original Assassin's Creed games, but I think we had so many that now I'm kind of okay that we've got this like bigger world RPG feel. I would like if this one was a little bit not as big as Odyssey. I think Odyssey was too big.
Odyssey was way too big.
There was just so much. It was overwhelming. But I mean, it was a beautiful game and it was a lot of fun, but I don't think it needed to be as big as it was. I don't think they need to be like prove that, oh, look how big of a game we can make. That's not what makes a good game.
Like, we get it.
Was that everybody for that one?
I think so.
Okay. Well, this will be an interesting one. Okay, male or female for your player character?
Male. He's on the box art. And I thought he was going to be the canon version until they announced yesterday or day before that both of them are canon. Don't know how that works. They said it's a spoiler, but I'm just going to do male just because he looks super sick. He looks dope.
I think I'm going to do what I did with Odyssey, which was if they're going to let me romance anybody, then I'm playing female. Let me kiss Vikings, people. Let it happen. But if not, then obviously I'm going to play male because he's hot and I want to look at him the whole time.
I am undecided because of both of those points. So, like, I loved playing as Cassandra, and after watching like this cutscenes with Alexios, I think I liked her dialogue better. I think some lines just hit better, but that could have been maybe the voice actor just, I don't know. So I think I'm undecided. I'm gonna have to wait, maybe see some more gameplay and think about it. But yeah,
Cassandra was dope though.
I really thought, before this I was like, okay, if they're gonna have a choice, I'm gonna choose female, and then I don't know, but like Christian said, the male protagonist, he looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people complaining that like, oh, you can play as a female in this game, like it's not historically accurate.
Yeah, it fucking is.
Why do people care? Like,
also,
there's gods in this game.
It is historically accurate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
shit
get
up.
it. Why do you play games to like be more in the real world? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It doesn't. I don't know. I just
a
play
game about mythology.
I play as a dude, but that's just because I'm a dude. But like, like
Right.
some people just care about the weirdest stuff.
Somebody turned into a fucking bird, and you're mad that you can play as a girl.
Yeah.
They don't even have to. They're not even being forced to play as a girl.
Right. It's just an option.
Yeah.
God. It's like the people who get pissed that games will include like closed captioning or like different difficulty levels. Like, it doesn't have to be for you. You don't have to use those. Move on with your life.
Someone else can play this game and like it, and I hate that.
The thing with like different difficulties is like some of the people who work on the game will include in the game being like, yo, this difficulty is like how I imagined you playing. Like, this is my vision. I think you should play on this.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's just easier difficulties because some people are terrible at games and they should be allowed to play it. Like,
or for accessibility reasons.
Exactly.
Some people, it's just.
Are we saying that being bad at video games isn't a handicap? Because if not, I have news. Because I'm bad at video games.
It's okay. I just finished Fallen Order, and I had started at the most difficult level, and I think I ended on the easiest.
Yeah.
Like, over time, I just got more pissed, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go to an easier level. And then at the end, I was like, all right, now I'm just focused on the story.
She's on the final boss, and she's like, all right, I'm just gonna go to an easier level. Oh wait, I can't.
See, I just got Cuphead, and anytime I get angry at it, I'm just like, why am I playing this when I have Animal Crossing?
I put it down. I stopped playing Cuphead because it was too hard. I'm like, fuck this. I can't do this.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I got to World 2, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
That's how I feel about Dark Souls. It's like I died so many times in a row. I was like, this is going to make me like break everything I own. So
gonna throw a controller at something.
Time to stop. Yeah.
Like breaking out in hives.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'll probably end up playing as the male character, but the only way that I can see them doing it, like both characters being canonical, is that like the other character is always there in the background. It's like a companion or something like that.
Yeah. What I think
the same name.
I think that they're the same character, and so probably what they'll do in canon is just make them gender neutral in canon, which is what they do in any kind of any kind of create your own character game anyway.
Also, Christian, on the point of like them having the same name, they could be just referring to them as like their surname, by their last name.
Yeah, that's true.
But like you get Byleth and Fire Emblem Three Houses, same name.
Yeah.
Right.
Canonically can be both male and female. Or like any of the Dragon Age games, like in canon, you're
usually a silent protagonist.
Yeah.
Next question.
Next. Okay, we kind of talked about this one already, but if you have anything to expand on, how much Norse mythology would you want to see?
A little bit, not as much as Odyssey dove into their mythos. I'm one of the I'm OG, so I like my Assassin's Creed to have more of the realism part of it instead of just focusing so hard on magic and this or that. Like, I'd still like to have a good, deep, grounded story, and in the background you have, oh hey, there's this mystical stuff going on that we don't know about, and it expands throughout the game, like the older games did. And
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty hot for mythology, and so I'm excited. And like I was saying, most of what we know about Vikings is from their sagas, which were part history, part then he finds a magic ring and he kills a dragon and becomes a great hero. So it's like you're going to kind of have to weave that in if you want to include the history, because most of their history is the made-up bullshit they told about themselves. So it's like, I'd like to see some stuff about the Volsungs because they're probably the coolest Viking historical family, where basically anyone made them a little bit mad and they just went on murder rampages and destroyed whole countries for it. So that'd be pretty sweet.
My constant mood during this quarantine.
Right.
You talk to my wife and I will destroy everyone you've ever met.
You screw up my food delivery?
Yeah.
Okay, but the amount of times that DoorDash has screwed up my food delivery during the quarantine is ridiculous.
Yeah. They don't give a fuck anymore.
No.
Christian, are you including the DLC when you say that Odyssey had too much of the mythology?
A little bit, only because I feel like they mostly shoved it into the DLC. Mm-hmm. From what I understand, because I still haven't played the Atlantis one, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, they basically shoved most of it into that third DLC. But yeah, that's about it. Not really.
Because I feel like, and I just might be remembering wrong, but I just felt like they didn't go into as much of the mythology during the main campaign / Odyssey.
Well, as far as that goes, it's like the whole Leonidas' spear.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's part of the Spear of Destiny and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And I'm like, just give them a hidden blade and an apple of Eden and we'll be good.
Yeah.
Right, where's the pieces of Eden anymore?
Yeah, it's like they were introducing a new piece of Eden, even though we know about all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which they could, granted, they can do whatever the hell they want with the lore. They can add a new piece of Eden and be completely fine. But the whole, especially the whole spear part, that felt a little bit too campy for me as far as the whole Greek mythology bit of it. And I'm like, okay, I watched 300. It's not magical.
Where you're wrong.
Oh, okay. Joe's jumping in. Hold on, guys. We're gonna.
Hey!
Beautiful boy.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Great.
Good.
I love the robe.
Yeah, it's like you're very comfortable.
Oh, I only wear robes now.
Mood.
Yeah.
Big mood.
I had a Zoom meeting at work and I just wore the robe. And that's it. That's my life now.
Amazing. Amazing.
Totally a robe guy now.
Oh yeah, and my character in Animal Crossing only wears robes now as
Wonderful.
well.
And guess what, Joe? Now your character in D&D only wears robes.
Okay, let's do it.
I can make that executive decision.
Yeah. Robes all the
He's
time.
such an asshole. Look at him. He's an asshole. Anyway.
Is that Raja Binks?
Hello.
No, that's Moses Sebastian Antonio Gonzalez Gutierrez III.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful cat. I love him.
He's gay. That's okay. I love him anyway.
You're a good cat dad.
Yeah. Raja's gay too, but anyway. So he's gay. Yes, he is. Yes, he totally is. Now we got into a fight because of you guys. Thank you.
Oh man.
Fighting now.
All right.
So are we supposed to talk about Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, we're going through some questions. I can give you the one we're on now, and you can jump in the lineup.
Okay, I'm going outside because I guess it's night. Oh God, the sun.
Oh no.
What is that?
Bad choice.
Quarantine
Okay,
life.
what's the question?
Okay, this one is, how much Norse mythology do you want to see in the game?
Well, I see. The thing is I wouldn't know it if I saw it because I don't know anything about Norse mythology. So yeah, I'm down for that. What do you want? Like a number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like 2 mythologies, please.
Norse mythologies. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they like go all wild with it, with like, you know, mythical shit. Like I don't care if it's realistic. Give me like dragons and shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
I love the simultaneous. Wait, Christian shaking his head no, and Steven is like, yes.
Yeah, dragon. I'm telling you, they kill a dragon in one of the Norse myths, and it's super cool.
In more than one.
That would be an awesome DLC.
He lays in a pit and like stabs upward as it crawls over top of him in the pit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like maybe Kratos can make a little cameo or just a quick
Easter egg.
All right, Joe, bye. God damn it.
Leave.
Yeah. I don't know.
Tweet Corey Barlog right now.
Or maybe just like an Easter egg or something. Like, I don't know. You see like
the Easter eggs are cool.
The chains of Olympus or something. I don't know. Anyway.
I wanted a Pirates of the Caribbean Easter egg in Black Flag, and it never happened.
Oh, it didn't.
Just like Jack Sparrow walking in the background.
You didn't find the jar of dirt? Black Flag?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Was there another question? Or is that we're all stuck on that one still? Or?
That's the one that we were on.
Just like thoughts on the trailer at all so far.
Oh, I didn't see the trailer. I don't watch trailers.
Oh, there you go.
What kind of games journalist are you?
I don't watch
the best kind.
I saw some the art though. From whatever I saw how they were doing the art. That was fucking rad. I love how how Ubisoft announces stuff sometimes, or they just like roll it out with some art. That's pretty cool. And it wasn't it like gradually changing throughout the day?
Yeah, it was like
they were live
doing the art all day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool.
Time lapse.
Yeah, it was cool.
I think that's a great way to just build anticipation over an entire day.
Yeah, but like after like the first hour, come on, we get it.
Well, some of us were working and couldn't just watch it. So
okay, I was at work and I was still just tuning in every once in a while to watch it. But towards the end of it, I just kept screaming, "Come on, dude, just finish it! Show me the guy. I want to know what the guy looks like."
I love that they waited to do him last.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Hey,
they knew
Steven, I noticed you trimmed your beard. What's going on here?
I trimmed it like at the beginning of quarantine for work and stuff like that. Because they were gonna have us work in the office and we were gonna have to wear masks and stuff like that. And if I had the mask on, I wouldn't be able to really have the beard. So
I understand. Well, hopefully one day we'll see the return of the almighty beard.
Oh, it's not going anywhere.
He's got to grow it back now because I was very angry with him. So
very betrayed.
he learned his lesson.
So one thing I saw people commenting on a lot is, you know, this isn't an Assassin's Creed game anymore. It's an RPG. You know, go back to the roots. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about that? Because I actually really like the new direction. I like way more than the old traditional Assassin's Creed games. So what did you guys think about that?
We were kind of saying that. We were kind of split. Like, I really like the RPG mode, but I do agree with what these guys were saying that it doesn't feel super Assassin's Creed gamey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying that I feel like I'm okay with the new change in direction just because we had so many Assassin's Creed games that were so very similar and we've kind of moved into a new direction.
Yeah, it really feels more like an RPG now more than it does an Assassin's Creed game because they're really only connected by the Animus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the evolution of gameplay.
Yeah,
It was just the lack of plot that really killed it for me. Like overarching plot.
Yeah, for me, I kind of wish they would take the RPG elements and dial it back a little bit. Like, getting the same sword every other time is a little annoying. Like, just give me one sword and I can upgrade it as I want. As far as loot goes and stuff like that. Like, that feels too games as a service for me.
Yeah.
And that's the only part I wish they would tweak was, like, the looting system.
Yeah.
I wish they could go back a little bit on that. Other than that, I mean, the gameplay's fine. The combat's fine. I'd like a little bit more parkour than
parkour.
I think Caitlin said it earlier that like people who are saying they should like stop calling it Assassin's Creed, like that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Like,
not.
Just the name sells millions of copies.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
That's what Caitlin was saying.
And what about the size of the open world? Because I actually think it's kind of too big.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
Yeah, she mentioned that earlier. Yeah.
Too big.
Yeah, needs to be a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
that's the thing though. People get fooled. They're like, bigger game equals better.
I think Origins was a good size of a game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I feel like Odyssey would have been better, but you spent so much time on the fucking ship in Odyssey to get from island to island to island to island.
Yeah, some people really liked that though.
I do really like the ships.
See,
Yeah.
I had that gripe with Black Flag.
I liked it, Black Flag.
Put me on the
weird.
pirate ships. Put me on the pirate ships, man.
Granted, I love Black Flag, but there were some parts where I'm like, okay, can I just fast travel to this island?
Okay, hold on. Idea. Okay, so instead of all that, you get like a pet companion dragon that you can just fly around.
Jesus Christ.
Just fuck it. Just fly the dragon.
Yeah,
it's Falcor from Neverending Story.
And he has the hidden blades, so he can come.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, the ship stuff is kind of interesting. I get why people have their problems with it, but for sure, I would like them to. Moses is being an asshole right now. For sure, I would like them to dial it down a little bit in terms of size. Because it's just too daunting. Like when they say, our map is bigger than ever, I'm like, oh God,
that's not a selling point anymore.
Like it doesn't matter towards any kind of gameplay. Like,
right.
And like you're not trying to compete with Rockstar here.
Odyssey's map was huge, but how much of it was just water and trees?
Yeah.
Or more space for somebody to come find me and try to kill me while I'm trying to get to where I'm going.
Like climb up a mountain and then position them to kick them off of it.
Or there's just so many tiny little islands too that it's like, oh, but there might be one chest there. Like there might be one thing on that little island that I get.
It's just a jar filled with a little bit of money.
A jar full of sand.
Yeah.
Or dirt.
Or dirt.
Yeah, boy.
So we got any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start. Okay, so we'll add Joe into the lineup. So we're going to go Christian, me, Joe, Kate, Sterling, Steven.
Word.
Okay, is this going to be a launch title for PS5 or the Xbox?
For sure.
Xbox.
If you say no, then there's something wrong with you. I mean, it'll come. It's going to be out for PS4 and Xbox One, but it's going to do what Black Flag did. They'll launch it for. It'll be day one for each console, respectively.
Yeah. And I love what Xbox has done, that if you buy it for the Xbox One, when you get the next one, it will automatically, you'll get that version as well.
That's exciting.
Yeah, which is how it should be.
To announce that.
Yeah. And they probably will. They've just been one step behind Xbox this entire new console.
So I keep thinking about, assuming the next gen actually comes out this year, which it probably will, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got delayed. And if they do both get delayed, what does that mean for this first run of launch titles? Do they still just go ahead with the launch and then do a separate launch when the new hardware comes out? Do they push the game to coincide with the new hardware? It's very tricky, and I don't know how they would handle that. I don't know. it just seems like maybe pushing would be a good idea right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now.
I think it would be good if you could tweak instead of like the crunch they do up to launch. That just gives you a few more months to like still go in, put some more finishing touches.
Right.
Plus, I don't think you would want to launch a game on one console, like the old console, and then have to wait for the next gen, because you're going to want people. That's the selling point for next gen consoles.
Mhm.
I remember them doing that. Like a lot of that happened whenever we went from Xbox 360 to Xbox One. It's like a lot of games were getting released on Xbox 360 for a while, and then there were still also versions of them getting released on Xbox One, PS4, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, there's the idea of crunch, but then there's also just like selling all that right now is not like a great idea, because people are going through financial. Well, yeah, and people are going through financial hardships right now. Some people are out of work, and so if you put out a $500 box,
Yeah,
plus your $60 game and your whatever accessories and stuff, it's just not great right now. And these systems are supposed to be probably within around $500. I mean, for what you're getting, that's a good price, but the average consumer is going to look at that and say, that's $500. I don't have
I'll
it.
just buy the
So-
PS4 for $200.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
yeah. Or
So-
I mean, you're seeing all these people buying Nintendo Switches because they're like,
Mhm.
okay, $200-$300. I can do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
500. That's a lot.
Like last
Yeah.
week, I bought a Switch Lite.
It'll also be interesting because the first few months of when a console releases is when like a lot of the investor stuff is going on. Like if people are really going to start backing it, like not just from a developer standpoint, but just from like the business end. And if these consoles come out when people don't have money, or B, they haven't manufactured enough because these factories aren't like working. Like it could be a disaster. Like you never really know, and that's the
It's
thing.
not
Like
financially smart to do it right now, and they're from either perspective, from the consumer or the like producers, like people creating it, the manufacturer perspective, because a lot of places aren't going to be selling it. A lot of people won't afford it.
Yeah. So
'Cause a lot of that stuff comes from China and overseas and everything. So
right. And I know we're supposed to be talking about Assassin's Creed, but I think talking about next gen at the same time is relevant because it's almost certainly going to
coincide.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
Is anyone planning to get either of the new consoles right when they come out?
PS5 day one.
PS5 day one. I'll get the Xbox One as well.
I'm still working, so I'll probably buy. I'll probably just stick with the Xbox and then buy the the new PlayStation in December or whenever the holiday sales start with the.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get both. I feel like I missed out on some stuff this generation by not having an Xbox or a few things like
no, you didn't.
Yeah,
as someone who has one, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves, yay!
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I still haven't been able to try is Game Pass, and that's something that I feel like has. Yeah, I feel like that's sort of revolutionized the way we think about purchasing games and stuff, and so that's something that I really would have liked to have tried. My PC is garbage, can't run Game Pass. I don't have an Xbox, but yeah, I think maybe next gen I might do the Xbox just in addition to PlayStation, and especially if the promise of these first-party Microsoft games are what they say they are, then I think I'm on board. Some of these games are really cool.
I'm gonna get it just for Hellblade 2.
Okay. Yeah.
What would make people switch teams? Like, what's one thing that would make you go like, nah, no PS5 day one, like Xbox?
Yeah, price. I think price is the biggest thing. We saw that last gen. Xbox came out at 500, and that horrible messaging they had. I mean, they were done almost right away, and so you had a huge portion of people on 360 who jumped to PS4. I saw that. I remember I was working at GameStop when that happened, and I knew these people who who would play on 360, and so many of these people jumped to PS4, and it was just wild to see such a huge shift. And I think it comes down to that bad messaging and the price,
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I think that's going to be a big deal.
Price would be a big factor.
Do you think they're going to announce their pricing first, since they've been, I mean, pretty, like they've been pushing all their news, more proactive. They've been ahead of PlayStation so far. Do you think they'll do that or wait?
I saw something with Phil Spencer where he said he was waiting. I thought he said something that he was waiting to see what Sony does. I don't know.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
My thing with that is that
he said something the other day that the team was working hard and they're getting ready to announce something, but I can't remember exactly what he was
games. He said that the next step is starting to announce video games, like the actual games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's whenever the thing got announced for the 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So who will go first with price? I don't know. I almost wonder what that would look like, where like if one of them announces their price first and the other one is lower, is it possible that the other person would then try to undercut them? I don't know. I mean, that would be insane to see something like that.
In a wild timeline, they're the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. $100 is a huge difference in price, but
$50 is kind of a huge difference.
Yeah. I think this one, I think they're going to be closer in prices than $100.
Yeah.
They're both very similar, like power-wise, graphics-wise, everything like that. So it would make sense for them to be similar in the...
It might be like a $30 difference, just something.
And so, like, to answer your question about jumping ship, if Sony went with asymmetrical joysticks, they won.
The thing that would make me jump is just exclusives. Like there's just nothing interests me on Xbox that I want to play.
Yeah, same here.
No Gears? Not into Gears?
No, I don't feel like playing Gears of War 25.
Halo.
Oh, it's only
like
6.
Halo.
The only Xbox exclusive I enjoyed on 360 was Forza. That was it.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. The Forza games are awesome.
Really
Yeah.
Especially the Horizon series. Like, I'm so mad that, like, I almost wanted to buy a Series X for $200 just to play all the Horizons games, just because those were so fun.
So, do you guys think we're still going to get physical releases of games, or are we? Are they going like how much longer though?
Yeah, there's a disc drive. I mean, for the duration.
No, I understand that. Like I mean, this. Do you think they're going to try and start pushing out the full digital thing, like they did earlier this generation?
Well, you know, with the success of Stadia.
The what? The who?
I don't know.
Exactly. Stop trying to make Stadia happen.
Isn't that a sugar substitute?
Yeah. So I think we're going to see an even bigger push to digital with this upcoming gen. But yeah, I mean, there's still a disc drive. There's still going to be discs. But I think maybe this might be the last gen that supports physical media.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of this upcoming generation that maybe some bigger titles don't get physical releases. I don't know. It just depends on how it rolls out and what the numbers look like. I know a lot of people who live near me, maybe like within 20-30 minutes of me, don't have internet. Like it's whether it's just city or whatever it is. Yeah. So they have to account for that. And even if they do have internet, download speeds are horrible. It would take you a week to download, Grand Theft Auto or whatever it is. So, although a lot of us have fine internet and, these bigger cities, LA, New York, all these places have fine internet, most of the country is like not like that. So they have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, I think it is very contingent on them rolling out, like they're rolling out Wi-Fi 6, 5G, but a lot of it's infrastructure. It's not, and like you said, a lot of people do not have access to that technology, and that's a lot. It's a lot of money that's gonna have to be shelled out to.
I wonder what the sales numbers were on the discless Xbox that they made.
The Xbox SAD.
Yeah, the SAD.
Bad naming, first off. That was I don't know who approved that in the marketing department.
Oh my god.
I think
especially with gamers because they like to make fun of everything, right? So
well, I mean, everybody on the internet likes to
everything's
fun
a
of
fair enough. Yeah.
I don't think physical games will go away after this generation, but it'll be like severely reduced because like at the end of the day, people still like to feel that game in their hands, right? And even like look at how much
I still buy
success
physical games.
limited run games has, like selling indie games for God's sakes. But and like Joe said, like internet some places is just so horrible, and people keep saying like, oh, but in a couple of years it'll be great. But like even in my hometown, like when I'm like, yo, like come play this game, and my friend's like, oh, my game has to update, like maybe tomorrow we can play.
Yeah.
And it's like and that's the thing, people 10 years ago were like, oh, well, in a couple of years it'll be great, like things will change, but like it is literally exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like nothing has changed in places, small towns and rural towns and stuff like that.
Mike can't be playing Call of Duty because I'm on this Zoom call. So
exactly.
Mike is on a bike right now. Get him out of the house.
Yeah, like, I just switched internet providers a month ago and went from 18 megabits download to 100, and that's with quotes, you know.
Yeah.
And that's because I live in small town Texas and we don't have fiber or anything like that.
Mine is 5 on a good day. So
really.
Oh,
I live in the forest.
Mine is around like 100, and then I was supposed to get Verizon Fios, but I was like my Fios, but my speeds were just they were good enough, and I was like, we don't need it.
Yeah, mine hit like
mine's like
6 the other day.
Yeah, I was like, wait, no, my download speeds are 260.
Right, astronomical.
And yeah, that's just.
Can I like mail you my Xbox so that you can install it?
It will download faster if you snail mail it to me.
Snail mail, yeah.
But that's the thing, like friends when they come from my hometown and come to hang out with me, they literally bring their consoles so they can download stuff. Like
we did that for Call of Duty. We brought it into town to someone else's house and installed Call of Duty at someone else's house.
Exactly.
So it didn't take 3 days.
No.
One thing to note about the next gen consoles is they're going to be using the solid state drives, and from what I'm not too smart with all that stuff, but from what I understand, that opens up the possibility for games to be smaller, because if everybody has a solid state drive, developers can optimize their games for that in terms of size. And so you might see game like file sizes decrease, even though
the hard drive load times.
What's that?
Which is going to increase. Like I was watching a video of like how fast something loaded on Xbox One X, and then how fast it loaded on the new Xbox, whatever the hell they're calling it. Mm-hmm. And it's like way faster because of the solid state drives and everything like that. Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's going to like decrease game sizes, but if it might, right? Because developers can optimize and you know, they can make it so that everybody has the same thing, right? And so you know, that 100 gig Call of Duty install might turn into maybe half, maybe 50, I don't know. So it might improve simply because of the solid state drive. But again, we don't really know a whole lot about that. So we're just kind of sitting here waiting, hoping they, you know, put out that whatever announcement reel that they're doing, I guess, whatever that is. And hopefully there's some good info in there.
That's the thing. Everything they've put out so far, like every press release and video, is so technical that like everyone's just like,
which no one cares about.
A very small select amount of people care about that stuff.
Yeah, just like
they're not in this call.
GDC thing that they was supposed to only be for GDC, and then they released it to the public, and everybody started shitting on them.
Yeah.
Because they were going to see a box, and it's like, we're never going to see the box. It was going to be about teraflops. That's all this presentation was about.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I still get such imposter syndrome at Twinfinite, and like when they did that Xbox release, where like it's just like technical stuff, and I was just sitting there like, what the hell's going on right now? But everybody else was like, what the fuck is this? And I'm just like, oh, thank God. I'm not an idiot.
Are any of these words real, or did they just make them all up to sound impressive?
Right, they're just saying random sounds.
They probably just make it up. I feel like that's me every day at my job, is reading very technical technology shit and it goes over my head, and then I've got to write stuff about it, and I'm like,
Like, yeah, this new console's going to run at 17 gigaflops.
Yep.
You didn't say anything to me.
I will
Sounds
say
very floppy.
I do appreciate how Mark Cerny speaks. He has a very soothing voice.
I love
True.
him so much.
I mean, he could be reading Cannibal Corpse lyrics, and I'd be like, yeah, yeah, great.
Interesting.
Thank you, Mark, for enlightening me.
Oh, man.
And maybe we'll see Knack 3. Who knows?
Oh, I hope
Little
so.
Knack 3 action.
I actually enjoyed Knack, so I would hope so.
Do any of you just buy your games digitally, or you mix all physical? What?
I'm full digital.
Both.
I've been buying all of my Switch games digital now,
Mm-hmm.
which might change. Like, that might turn me into someone who just buys things digitally now. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm lazy.
When my
Switch-
Animal Crossing got delayed, I bought it digitally, and I've just been buying all my
Yep.
games digitally now.
I usually get all of my Switch games physically because they're already $10 cheaper at work, and then I get my discount. But for Animal Crossing in particular, I was like, okay, I don't ever want this game to leave my system, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
just gonna buy it digitally and download it. But as far as PS4 goes, everything is on
Well,
the hard drive.
The thing is that I buy a lot of my Xbox games like previously played, so that they're cheap. And that might be what stops me from buying a lot of games.
Well, like
That's
with
fair.
Xbox, if I see something, it's going to be like, oh, it's releasing, but then it's also releasing on Game Pass. I'm just like, all right, I'll just download it digitally on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how that system makes money. Like how that structured. Instead of getting like $60, they're just getting like $10. I don't understand it. I don't like it's so good for everyone. I just don't understand how it makes Microsoft money.
Yeah,
Very pissing into the wind.
I've heard some things from developers. They don't like outright say that it's not working, but they like hint to that maybe it needs to have some improvements. I don't think we're ever gonna hear a story, with the official numbers and stuff tied to it. But yeah, I'm with you. It like boggles my mind. Like, wouldn't you rather have my $60 than my $10? I just don't understand.
I can give you $60 once, or I can give you $10
Forever.
12 times a year.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
Yeah, I
like
get but how
that
does
$10 isn't
Yeah,
going
but-
straight to that developer. Like it's going
Yeah.
to.
No, like I understand it's going straight to Microsoft. I'm sure that Microsoft has to pay something to the developer.
It's like
Yeah.
the Spotify model,
Yeah.
Right.
where they just trickle that money throughout.
Pay the
But
rights.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, but-
they're paying the rights, but musicians are getting a lot less. And I'm guessing like these games that are on Xbox Game Pass, they're getting a lot less than if you went and bought it from them.
But
Right.
but at the point where, so if you spend $120 a year and you play 3 AAA first-party games, you've already beaten the system. So it's like,
But I'm
I'm sure there's a lot of people who bought it and have forgotten about it.
yeah,
Right.
they just
Yeah.
like let it auto renew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Do you know how many
Netflix-
subscriptions I have to things that
Yeah.
I know I pay for shit I don't use?
I don't look at my bank account anymore.
Same. It's just too depressing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like when I got my drunk GameStop package the other
Yeah.
day.
I made a poor choice.
What is this?
Oh, man. Yeah.
There's somebody still out there getting loot crates, not even knowing.
Yeah.
God.
Loot crate.
So, and in terms of my setup with buying digital and physical and all that, so I'm in kind of a weird situation because I have this PlayStation credit card, and you get points with it and stuff. It's kind of like an air mile points thing,
Yeah.
and like pretty much like every month I get X amount of dollars to spend on the PlayStation Store, and so that really influences my decision to buy all digital. Plus, there's always like an awesome sale every month
Yeah.
digitally.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't like going out in public and talking to people. So like
the last time Joe was in public was D&D, and that was forever ago.
Yeah.
Joe only wears robes now.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't taken this robe off in months.
So yeah, and my whole idea too is I think once we shift to all digital, we'll start seeing the prices go down. Right now, a new game is still $60 digitally or physically, and that's because publishers don't want to ruin their relationships with retailers.
Right, where they should be charging more because there's more work going into something like that.
I mean, technically at Walmart's, they're $50.
Yeah. What's up with that? I guess they can just eat it. They can afford to eat it, right?
Yeah.
I went on our subreddit one day whenever it first started happening and posted, price tags and was like, why is this a thing? And most of the comments were thinking, oh, we're trying to put the final nail in GameStop's coffin. And, that thought did occur to me. But then I was going, maybe it's just because Walmart can afford it. I mean, we sell everything already. So
and your games are in the back of the store. So they're banking on people walking through, and they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to get this.
Oh, I'm buying a game. Let's get chips.
Yep. So they're making back that money off of, because people don't go into Walmart to buy a game.
Maybe it's like movie theaters, how they're not making money on tickets. But they are on
sessions.
The other thing that's interesting is if you wait like a month, the digital game is like crazily cheaper.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, like I remember when Battlefield 5 came out, like less than a month later, it was half off digitally.
It was also a bad game. So.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I always end up getting the deluxe versions that way too. Because they're
you can get like the gold edition for the same price as like
what I did with Odyssey
at launch.
Yep. That's what I did with Odyssey.
I really wanted Resident Evil 3 remake, but like Capcom games go on sale all the time. Like you might as well just wait. It's like a 3-hour game. I'm not going to pay for
beat it
when it's going to go on sale in like a month.
Yeah.
There's like a trophy / achievement for beating the game in under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. All right. Last question, guys. This is the big one. Is this game going to kill Emily? Yes.
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 I'm already dead.
You're looking at a hologram of Christian right now.
Yeah.
That's a ghost. Sterling is a ghost.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
need to change your background back to you as Pikachu.
Yeah, do it.
No, I don't want that.
Do it.
I was going to say,
we gotta end on a high note.
There we go.
I hate everything.
Hey, guess what? I'm keeping it. Keeping it.
Do it.
What have you guys been playing to stay busy during this so fun time?
Still Fire Emblem. It's all your fault.
Yeah, I see you playing that every day. Like how?
I put over 300 hours into it, Sterling.
Even I don't like it that much.
I can't stop.
I've been playing a little game called Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, just a little indie game.
Yeah.
God, seriously though, that game it's blowing me away. The sales of that game. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait for NPD to come out for March, but every week there's like the Famitsu Japan sales, and it's just like crazy how well this game is selling. It's really cool.
It literally couldn't have come out at a perfect time.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So that's been fun. It's a game that like I look forward to playing every single day because there's a new thing,
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I gave a presentation about it. To
really?
all my friends, and they all were like, "Okay, I'm gonna go buy a Switch." And I did it to my mom, and you can't buy a Switch anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta order it online for like $200 more.
Yep.
That's the thing. Is like people always say Mario and Zelda like sell Switches, but like this game is so casual friendly that like I know tons of people who never play video games or like they don't play very often, and they're like, I want to buy a Switch to get Animal Crossing.
2 of my friends went and bought Switches just for Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So good.
That's all I've been playing, and then I've also been playing Modern Warfare, playing Warzone.
Yeah. Warzone is so good.
It's so good, dude.
It's so good. Oh man.
Make some Warzone.
It's Steven hit me up this weekend.
It has no right to be as fun as that. Dude, I think that's like the most fun I've had all year in the game. Like, fun.
The other day, we were at the very last zone, and everybody was in the zone, and I killed 2 guys, and I had 14 kills. My teammates both had 2 kills each, and they're like, "Oh, Christian, let's go!" And I was like, "Oh, he's reviving himself!" And I I was too focused on meleeing a guy, and then I looked over, and the other guy revived himself and shot me. And I was like, "We got second." I was like, "No!" I was like, "Oh, it's all downhill from here."
Oh, man.
Yeah. So you wouldn't think that like another battle royale could come out and do well, but with Call of Duty being attached to the name, it sort of has a little bit of extra bump there. But yeah, it's really, really fun.
I don't like that they just took out the bounties with that last update, because I thought the bounties were a lot of fun.
Started on that.
Like they added an extra. Yeah,
with
bounties
the
took them out.
Now they have King Bounty, which is where everybody on the map can see you, and you get a high value for killing you. So it's basically 1v99 at that.
Oh, great.
And it's got a 5-minute timer on it. It's so stupid.
Yeah. There are definitely some tweaks that need to be made to it, but I think what's there is really, really awesome. I don't know if you consider this for Game of the Year, because is it technically a new game? I mean,
no,
kind of.
It's just a new mode.
Well, but it's standalone. You can download it. That's why it's tricky.
Oh.
You can download it on its own.
Witcher DLC won Game of the Year, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
but yeah, I'm like thinking about Game of the Year discussion.
But comparing Witcher DLC to Warzone, how much content was in the Witcher's DLC? Sterling, leave the call.
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, you could presumably play Warzone for longer than Witcher, though, right? So, if you're just valuing it at hours played, then I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting discussion at the end of the year to see if people count Warzone as its own game, because I think a case could be made that it is its own game.
What do you think the Game of the Year will be?
Probably
Animal Crossing.
What was that, Joe?
I was gonna say Final. I just said Final Fantasy, but I keep forgetting Last of Us is coming out this year.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
And Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah, Cyberpunk.
Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers is next month, right?
No.
I know they pushed. It got pushed back to like September, right?
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that could.
I feel like that could be a surprise.
We still have no idea what Nintendo's holiday game is.
Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
Do you think it's coming out end of the year?
It has to. What else?
I think maybe it was going to come out at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't.
It's next year for sure.
And now it's pushed. Yeah.
I think it will be next year.
But yeah,
I'll play through that again.
I think probably The Last of Us will get or Cyberpunk.
It'll get a nod.
Yeah.
I'm most hyped for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that game looks really cool.
Even after having The Last of Us 2 spoiled for me, I still want to play it.
Oh no!
I've avoided spoilers.
I
got spoiled.
I had like on Twitter, like everything is blocked, like TLOU, TLOU2, Ellie Joel, everything is blocked. Like they're all muted words. And I was scrolling through an IGN post and I saw it and I'm just like, fuck my entire life.
Yeah, I've seen like any tweet that's either from Naughty Dog or Sony, whether it's about Last of Us or not, there's comments in there that are spoiling the game. Like it could be something just like, Sony saying, "Hey, we just updated Predator Hunting Grounds," whatever. Right. And then like there's several comments spoiling The Last of Us. So don't even look at any social media.
No video game stuff whatsoever.
People suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at nothing.
And to quote the great philosophers of our time, Slipknot, people equal shit.
God.
I feel like that's the point where we should end.
Yeah, on that note.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging out. And Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
Hey, Assassin's Creed.
This conversation was like half Assassin's Creed. We talked about so much else.
We went off the rails. That's all right. All right. Yep. Bye.
Bye.